thank you guys so much for having me today. My name is Benjamin Sens. I'm a general contractor. I used to be a municipal inspector. I'm a member of a condominium association where I own an investment property. I have a CAM license. My background's in real estate. So I understand a lot of these situations, as do many of you, a lot of people with real estate backgrounds. Basically, what's going on is, in a nutshell, there's a 40-year recertification. It has to be done every 40 years when the building turns 40 and then 10 years thereafter. And what happens is these associations put off getting these 40-year certifications. The municipalities, which are the cities, they're supposed to enforce, or the county, they're supposed to enforce buildings when they say, hey, you guys haven't gotten your 40-year. They haven't been doing that. After, you know, the tragic event that happened in Surfside, where a lot of our community was affected, the mayor of Miami-Dade County ordered an audit of all these buildings, ones who hadn't had their 40-year inspection performed. So I was just in North Miami 2 weeks ago. These are things, what they refer to as spalding, or concrete separating, rebar exposure. These are on balconies. These are the signs of a building that, and again, this isn't even on the coastline. This is west of Biscayne, North Miami. These are signs of a building that has failed to be repaired by the board. The board is made up of investors, and the building is filled with tenants. So again, these are investors constantly putting off what the building needs because it affects the bottom line. And above their maintenance, if they get a special assessment or an SBA loan or have payments. So the bottom line is, when you start to see things like this in the building, concrete spalding, any degradation, any structural, the 40-year covers these things. The 40-year isn't for aesthetics. It's the roof on the building, which you see around you in this beautiful building we're in. It's the air conditions that are strapped to the roof so they don't blow off the roof in a hurricane. It's the concrete, it's the rebar, it's the elevators, it's the life safety systems. Life safety meaning fire alarm, fire sprinkler. We're in a sprinklered building right here. So all of these things need to be checked out and recertified. Now, you can inform your association to be proactive and do what's called a reserve study and evaluate the life on these deficiencies that are left, because we want to plan for expenses. Again, a lot of condominium associations, they don't fund for reserves, and that's being changed. Hopefully, that'll be changed very soon. And I believe in Florida, we have the most condominium associations in the country. I think we have like over 1.9 million condominium associations. This is the building. The building in North Miami, about 134 units. They have a red tag on the building. The city of North Miami came out there and saw issues in the parking garage. And we'll see some of those pictures.
Yeah, okay. Starting to see that rebar there. Okay, now look. Then you guys come over here. Wow. Okay, what you start the video, you can do it, so you'll call me once they come on. Sure.
So once the concrete breaks off, that's protecting the rebar structurally and holding everything together. The rebar, which is that metal stuff, those black lines, it becomes exposed. And you could touch it and it flakes off like fish flakes. It's just weathers away. So these are the things that are holding up the balcony, they're holding up the building, they're holding up the parking garage, and all the 40-year recertification says that, hey, we want you guys to hire an engineer to go ahead and assess the building, evaluate the deficiencies, and then within 6 months, if the building is still safe to live in, which most are, within 6 months, you take action on those deficiencies and you follow up with an engineer's report. So again, if you don't know the deficiencies, it's a little bit late to strategize on how are we going to cover those expenses. Again, these are building-wide things. Just to replace concrete and weatherproof the building with good paint, caulk, and stucco, again, just that's hundreds and thousands of dollars, depending on the size of the building. So again, this is the parking garage. Most have parking below the building. So this is an area with plumbing issues. This is the Broward County 40-year recertification program. And basically what it does is it just goes over, like I said, structural, life safety, plumbing, electrical systems, different deficiencies in the building. Does anyone have any questions so far about any of the obligations that a condominium association may have to repair these things?
I'm just curious, as a residential realtor,
Sure.
we have been asking if they've done their 40-year inspection. That's something we ask when we're at the...
That's a big question.
Yeah, but how do we know for sure, like, that we're being told the truth? And what is it that we can do to ensure that we're giving our client the right information and getting the truth?
So basically, what was asked is, how do we know the information that we're hearing on the MLS or in the broker's remarks or all these, well, on the MLS, brokers make highly misrepresentations on the broker's remarks and on the remarks on the MLS of what they saw from another realtor who listed the property. And I could say that because I'm a realtor. And I go in the MLS all the time because I rely on the information or disinformation that agents put in that's warranted to be true but not accurate. So basically, in a nutshell, you go to the property manager, you go to the board of directors. If you're not, don't rely on another agent's listing or information. Don't rely on what you hear, because you're going to lose your client and you're going to lose your relationship ultimately with them. And you are the relationship professional, and it's a violation to talk about like you're an expert on what I do or legal or tax or anything like that. So you're going to end up in hot water probably with your brokerage. I had a couple people in Miami Beach before Surfside happened. They said, the city hasn't, we know we're supposed to have a 40-year, big quad domain condominium, not far from Champlain Towers. We know we're supposed to have a 40-year, but the city hasn't cited us yet. Okay? So, what I do every day is I fix code violations, open permits on commercial and residential properties. I highly rely on lien searches. A municipal lien search, which is pulled when your buyer goes to purchase the property and needs title insurance, that is a request from the city, from the building department, from the code enforcement department, from the utility, from the property taxes. But the municipal lien search only includes what the city reports to them. So how do we find out about unpermitted work? How do we find out about deficiencies that have not been yet caught up in a violation? Again, we go to the property management, we get in writing, which sometimes it's very hard. You could go to the minutes of the association meetings. Again, some of these things are a little bit hard to get to, but they're very important for you or your client who's buying an undivided interest in the building. Most of the buildings we're talking about are condominium associations. Very few are co-ops, and I know that's a little bit different. I was dealing with one on Bay Harbor Island. But again, the point is, coastal or not coastal, a lot of these buildings, they have deficiencies. They're being run by property management companies who are being hired at the leisure of investors and non-owner occupants. So these are the most vulnerable, and these are the people that we have to watch out for. A lot of our rental communities, a lot of our workforce housing, and again, even a lot of our luxury buildings. So it's a very wide spectrum, and it affects a lot.